This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for today is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, and it is also Yom Shlishi, the third day of the week, the third day of Tevet, 5786. And if you noticed, I have this, it's called a yad. Yad is a little hand, a little pointer, and use it for pointing. People use it to read the Torah. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim v'et haaretz v'haaretz. See? Pointer. And I find it really significant that I bought this the third day of Tevet, actually just as Hanukkah was leaving, and we're going to sort of a neutral month, a month with not really much in it. Just, there's the 10th of Tevet, which is a fast, and besides for that, there's really nothing in this month. And this comes from Hanukkah. It's coming out of Hanukkah into this kind of neutral space, which I find very interesting. Sometimes it's just in the mundane, so to speak, every day. Nothing's mundane, everything is holy, but relatively speaking, it's a little bit more just routine, and there's something very holy in the routine. And so I think that's what this yad represents to me. It's the holiness in the everyday routine, and yet it still is coming off. It still has that afterglow. It's still coming off the aura of Hanukkah. We still have a little taste of it. That's the meaning I find, and the reason I bought this yad right now. That's how I interpret it. And the very first number on this calendar, on the top right-hand corner, is the number 28. As you'll see, 28. And 28. What does this represent? Well, this calendar, it's read in two ways. You could read it from left to right and right to left. And depending on what you're using it for. If you're using it for a calendar like the solar calendar or the lunar calendar or just any calendar, you read it from left to right. Like you're reading English, like you read numbers, you're reading it this way. So, however, this table is also used for reading Hebrew things. When you read Hebrew, you read the opposite. You read from right to left. And this layout, meaning 8 columns and 8 columns and 9 rows, is the chart that it's the same way you would print print the 72 holy names of God. According to Exodus chapter 14. And I don't mean that it's written in there, it's encoded from there. If you look at chapter 14, you won't be very disappointed, you won't find it. Not unless, that is, if you don't know how to put the words together. It's sort of an acrostic. There's 3 verses in Hebrew, and the first letter, and they line up, and then that makes, and then the middle verse is in reverse, and then the last third and the last verse is forward again, and then and line up as those. That makes the names. So it's just like this. It has 8 columns and 9 rows, 72, and this 28 here represents the 28 letters of the first verse in Genesis. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim v'et haaretz. That is 28 letters. 28 letters. 7 words, 28 letters. So this 28 here, and then this starts the 72 letter name count. We started it because I'm trying to understand the concept of this 360-day prophetic year. Some of you may have heard of this, that in order to understand the calculation of Daniel, you would have to see a year as 360 days, not 365 like the solar calendar, and not 354 like the lunar, but rather 360. It's right in the middle, which makes me think something very interesting. Like it's like an average of the solar and lunar. So it's just something to think about, that making peace between Jacob and Esau, which is what this theme was, and just an interesting idea that it's talked about as 360 a year from the edict. I think it's Artaxerxes, as it's laid out in Nehemiah chapter 2, and it's basically 69 weeks from there, and weeks of years, that is. So it's 69 times 7 is 43, I think. Let's see here. Let's see. So it's 483 from the date is 445 BC. I don't have the calculator, so I can't do it right now. But anyway, what I was going with is that I started the count on Rosh Hashanah, the new year of the Hebrew year 5785, which was not this past one, but the one before that. When Rosh Hashanah occurred in the year 2024, that was for the Hebrew year 5785, and I started. That was ground zero, and I went all the way around, and I took it into like a. It was 70. See, remember I mentioned to you the 72 names, right? And this is a technology for understanding time. It's a mathematical technology for understanding time, a mathematical system for understanding time. And the time is the years, and it's taking into consideration Hebrew years and solar years. I mean, it's lunar and solar years. So, if you start from Rosh Hashanah in 2024, right? And that was a special leap year. I think Rosh Hashanah was either on October 3rd. I think it was on October 3rd of last year. So October 3rd of 2024. You know what? I have a calendar. I can check it out right now. Okay, this is interesting because this is when it ended. I was doing this for 5 years, these things here. So you get to Rosh Hashanah of September, okay, October 3rd. Yes, it was. See? October 3rd, 2024, Thursday, was the first day of Rosh Hashanah, Aleph Tishrei. It was October 3rd, 2024. That was ground zero. Okay? 277th day of the year. And of course, the first day of the Hebrew. Okay? Now, what I did was, since I was measuring time in a very unique way, I was measuring time, get this, by the 72-letter name. The 72-letter name of God was my timetable, was my clock, was my calendar. So what I did was, Rosh Hashanah was here. The second day of Rosh Hashanah, first day of Rosh Hashanah, October 3rd, was right here. October 4th was right here. 5th here, or Aleph Tishrei here, Bet Tishrei here, Gimel, etc. And when I got to 72, this thing can be 72, but you don't do this line, you just stop here because it's 8 times 9. Okay, 8 columns, 9 rows. When you get to 32 over here, you finish the first 72. It's like saying a month, or it's like saying, whatever. It's the measurement of time. A fortnight, a month, a year. It's called the 72. Maybe I'll come up with some nifty name for it, or maybe something will come to me. But the first 72, now think about it. 5 times 72 is 360. So already we're onto something here. Right? We're already onto something. I want to make sure it's correct. Okay? 72 times 5. Eli? 360. Okay. 360? Yeah. That means that we already have something interesting. You can already connect. Fly. Sorry about that. You can already connect the 72-letter name with the time span known as a year. Why? Because 72 times 5 is 360, which is what was mentioned before, the 360 prophetic day year. It's right in the middle between 254 and 365, lunar and solar years respectively. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. So basically all I have to do is go through this, and every day I did a name. I meditated on Vav He Vav over here, Yud Lamed Yud here, and I went through each day. When I finally got to the last name, over here by 32 was Mem Vav Mem, and then again, so it took us to last year. It took us to the 12th of Kislev. That is the 72nd day of the Hebrew year. If you start from Rosh Hashanah, I did the same thing when we got to 12th of Kislev. We started the 13th over here, and same thing. This is 13th, 14th, and then we finished around, let's just say 24th of Shvat. Let's say 25th of Shvat was the next one, and then it went until ER. Let's say, right? It was Adar and then Nisan. There's like 60, and then let's say the 9th of ER. Let's say was the next one, and then after the 9th of ER, it went to some point in late Tammuz, right? Then after Tammuz, it went until some point. Yeah, at the end of late Tammuz, that was the last one. Then you have only 72 days left for the Hebrew year. You have just Av and El left. So Av and El is like 60 days. But then what do you do? It's going to jut into the next year. What do you do? I said, you know what? Let's take this thing all the way. If I'm going to understand what this 360-day prophetic year is, I'm going to do it right here, right now. These are things that I can see with my eyes. If I can see with my eyes and understand it, then maybe I can explain it. But if I don't see with my eyes, and I need something real. So I'm trying to understand. The point of this calendar is to understand the prophecies in the book of Daniel, and when the mathematics are worked out here, then I plug it back into the scriptures as I read them. And it's very important because this can help explain the Daniel 9 prophecy of when Messiah arrived in a very clear and demonstrable way that has to do with days that I can talk about. I can explain what a 360-day prophetic year is because I lived it. I've seen it. I've touched it. I've tasted it. I felt it. I know it. That's the idea. So what happened is that 360 days from Rosh Hashanah 5785, which is October 3rd, lands us on September 28th. Yeah? September 28th of 2025. Because Rosh Hashanah was earlier this year, because this is a simple year. Rosh Hashanah this year was on September 23rd and the 24th, respectively, the first day and second day. And then that means that September 28th would be the 6th day of Tishrei. That's a 360-day year. And that brings us back up to here. So I did the full 5 72s. I went around 5 times. I did the whole year. And now the fifth 72 went into the new year a little bit, 6 days into the new year. And then I started the new year, and what gave me a fresh dose of real joy and hope and enthusiasm was the count in the new year. Get this, if you're a Chabadnik and you've listened to this far, I think you'll agree with me why I was excited. And if you're a Chabad Lubavitcher, you'll know what this date is, 19th of Kislev. If you count, now remember, I did 360 days, I did a full prophetic year, yeah? So now we're on the 6th of Tishrei. That's day 1, which is September 28th on the Gregorian calendar. And I counted exactly 72 days, and you know what I came up to? Another Rosh Hashanah. Indeed, the 19th of Kislev, which comes out this year in 2025 on December 9th, the 19th of Kislev is known as the Rosh Hashanah for Hasidim. The Rosh Hashanah for Hasidics. Do you understand the beauty of this? That because I counted a prophetic year, I went 360 days, and then I did the next 72, and I'm just going to keep going with this, because this is neat. I came to the 19th of Kislev, which is its own Rosh Hashanah. This year it was December 9th, and the 19th of Kislev, guess what? I started from back up here again. And I started doing my count. And I'm just going to keep going until I understand. Now, what's really important, what's really interesting and amazing about the 19th of Kislev is if you're sensitive to energies, it's a very, very powerful energy of renewal. It's like a new year. And I don't think it's just subjective and just psychological. I really felt it. I mean, I guess you could just say you really felt it. You're saying it's not, but you just, at the end of the day, it's me talking, and so. But I think others would agree that there's a very powerful burst of energy on that day. So that just gave me more enthusiasm and encouragement to continue the calendar work. Now, I spent a lot of time on that, but I didn't say something that I wanted to say about the time span of the calendar, which is 3 months. And there's a few places in Tanakh, I'll just touch upon it now quickly, in Tanakh that stress 3 months. And the first thing that I thought on my own just right away was Moses, when his mother hid him. According to Exodus 2, she hid him for 3 months. But there's another place for 3 months, and it has to do with in the times of David, when he wanted to bring the ark to the city of David, or something like that. He brought it from somewhere to somewhere. According to this is 2 Samuel chapter 6, and the parallel in Chronicles is 1 Chronicles chapter 13. And basically, long story short, when they were bringing the ark, one of the Levites, I think it's Levite, this guy named Uzzah, he grabbed a hold of the poles of the ark, and he got zapped. Basically, he wasn't supposed to do that. He died. So then David was very upset, and then he got scared. He's afraid. And how can we even deal with this? This is, But somehow he got this ark over to a house of someone by the name of Oved Edom, the Gittite. And what's interesting is that this ark stayed in Oved's house, his home, for 3 months. That's this period here. So why did it stay in his house for 3 months? What's the secret of that 3 months? And sometimes it says Yerachim in the case of Moses, and sometimes it says Chorashim. Why? Why both? Those are questions that are attacked. I wanted to go deeper into it, but I'll leave it at that because we're approaching 20 minutes. But just to say that today is the 3rd day of Tevis, which is the 10th month. The coordinate here is 15, and it's G8, and 23rd day of December, which is 10, box 10, and the coordinates are E7.